hear live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Come on!
We back. It's a hump day. It's a day before Turkey Day. Thank you. Needed that. And it's the pregame show, baby, with Joe Spadoni. 888-957-9570. That's the number to get involved. And I want to hear from everyone. People that are working on Thanksgiving, the people that aren't working, whatever the hell you're doing. I want to hear from the people today. Let's just have a fun show. And not saying all our shows aren't fun, because listen, we don't try to be too serious here on the pregame show. We know the role and we get it done. All right? We're the sixth man of the station here. That's fine. We treat it like Lou Williams. We treat it like Lamar Odom in his prime. We treat it like Jordan Poole at times. Hey, Jordan Poole's a champion. Don't you forget it. All right? Apparently the Wizards already tried to move off of him. Good morning to everyone just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, getting ready to do whatever you're going to do, traveling, be safe. It's beautiful out there. This is setting up for a beautiful week here in the Bay or wherever you're traveling out in California. It's windy down in the south, so be careful there. But again, good morning to all of you lovely people. We are live and streaming on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game. Like, subscribe there. Again, the number is 888-957-9570. That's to call or text the Comcast Business Text line, which again is always open. Hit us up there. Also, be sure to download the Odyssey app during this vacation if you're going on one. You can take us wherever you need to go, and we'll be live and local all week long, outside of tomorrow. I'll say that. So all 6 days long. Black Friday, we got reaction. Are we doing the kickoff show in overtime tomorrow, Sam? Thumbs up. So we are live and local all week. I wasn't lying. What? I wasn't lying. I think we are. E-Dog, Evan Giddings, Grandy, Sterling, they'll be locked in. Niners with a massive game tomorrow against the Seattle Seahawks. They're division rivals. And let me see if I got this right. The 49ers are trying for the first time to win back-to-back games in Seattle. They've never done that. That's wild. That was from our guy Kyle Madsen, who obviously covers the team for Niners Wire and hosts now at ESPN 1320. So shout out Cal for that little nugget. I think they're gonna wax them tomorrow. Who here thinks the Seahawks are gonna win this game? Really? Come on. Geno Smith with a bum arm, no Kenneth Walker, Brock Purdy playing like an MVP, George Kittle looking like the top 1 or 2 tight end now in the NFL. Mark Andrews hurt. That stinks. Although there's an outside chance he comes back. Reports indicate yesterday that the Ravens make a deep run. Mark Andrews could return. But George Kittle, right now, I'm taking him over Travis Kelce. If we're just going by play of this year, and what have you done for me lately? Shout out Janet Jackson. Well, George Kittle, he's been a baller. Christian McCaffrey, baller. Ayuk, baller. Deebo Samuel, do I need to go on? And listen, the Seahawks got weapons. Their rookie, Devin Witherspoon, stud. Tyler Lockett gives you problems. DK Metcalf, physical freak. And Pete Carroll, that gum chewing, yeah, we hate him. But you love to hate him, right? And I think tomorrow, the 49ers are going to put the world on notice. It's going to be one of the most watched games of the NFL regular season. All the Thanksgiving games are. And people are going to be out, sitting, watching their turkey on the East Coast. They've already eaten. They're chilling. They have their, eggnog. I don't know what else. Your pumpkin pie. You're on your 5th slice, whatever you're doing. Getting fat and jolly for old St. Nick coming to town in a few weeks. And you're going to be watching the 49ers ram it down the Seahawks' throats. That's what they're going to be doing tomorrow. Does anyone else think different? 888-957-9570. Warriors, as we shift over to basketball, they take on the Phoenix Suns tonight in Phoenix, Arizona. Coverage of that starts right here on 95.7 The Game at 6 o'clock with Warriors Live. John Dickinson will have that for you before handing it off to the voice of the Golden State Warriors right here on 95.7 The Game. That would be Tim Roy, who will be on the call with Jim Barnett, I believe, since it's a road game. So can't wait for that. KD, Steph, what more do you need? Although I wish Draymond was playing in this one because that whole dynamic as well is always interesting with Kevin Durant. Apparently they're boys now again. Been on each other's podcasts or whatever. But, loses a little bit of the luster. But, again, KD, Steph, what more do you need? And the Warriors, they're trying to start a streak. The 49ers are streaking now. Can the Warriors start to do that? They're 7-8, taking on the 8-6 Phoenix Suns. It's early. It's 15 games. All right. A lot of people are like, hey, let's wait for 20 games. Well, that's 5 games away. And if they're still like a game or two below 500, 20 games in, I think that's what the team we're looking at is. A 500 team. Now, things can change. Injuries happen, obviously, suspensions. So once they're back at full strength, maybe then can you properly judge them? Sure. But once they are back at full strength, how long is that going to last? I mean, God, it looks like every single team I watch in the NBA, there's always someone out. And what does Steiny say? NBA, what does it stand for? Nobody balls anymore. I love that. Steiny. He was in his bag yesterday with Evan Giddings. Back at it again today. I don't know if Steiny's a big Thanksgiving guy. I got to ask him. Steiner.
It's overrated.
It's overrated. Thank you, Sam.
Is what he would say.
He probably golfs a lot during this. Like Black Friday, he's probably a huge golfer. He probably loves Thanksgiving because it's a set time every year. It's a Thursday. Then he's got his Friday golf, Saturday golf, and probably Sunday golf. Like Christmas, it's different. What is Christmas on Monday this year?
So he likes Thanksgiving because there's less people at the golf course, basically.
Well, there's more people. It's a lot of people. It's a holiday. It's a lot of people. But
you would figure that people are with their families.
He's got his family. That's what Steiny would say.
Well, it's like, yeah, you take advantage. Everyone's at home with a family, so there's more room on the golf course for Steiny.
No, well, that's the thing. You think there's more room for the family and more room for Steiny. No, all the husbands, all the boyfriends, all the nephews, everyone, they're just, I want to get the hell out of the house.
So they all have the Steiny plan, basically.
Yes, of course. Try to book 18 holes anywhere this weekend, wherever you are. I don't care if you're in Monterey, you're in LA, you're in San Diego, you're up north, you're in Washington, Oregon. It's going to be very difficult. Now, you can walk on there and try to get a tee time, or most of the spots you're going to find are solos or, threes that are looking for a one, or, late afternoon when it's 4 o'clock and the sun's going to be down in an hour. And they're like, all right, yeah, $25. There you go. Try to finish 18. Which you can't. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? I would like to know. Usually on Fridays, we do, what are you doing this weekend? What are you doing? How are you watching the game? Well, today is my weekend. Today's my Friday, officially. For a lot of you, it is as well. And if you're working, again, shout out you. Shout out the retail workers. Shout out the grocery stores. Shout out everyone. Truck drivers, if I didn't list you, nurses, doctors, all of you. We appreciate you. I know what it's like working retail. Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas Eve, all that sort of stuff. Not fun. It's not. But I respect the grind. You got to do what you got to do to help your family, to help yourself. Just know. Joe Spadoni appreciates you. I'll give out a little signed pictures of those and I'll frame it for you if you want it. Joe Spadoni appreciates you. That's my merch. 957thegame merch.com. We still have merch, by the way, Sam? We'll get some garlic fries and baseball guys merch and pregame show. We'll put that in the workshop. I'm sure that'll be top priority. Speaking of top priority, again, 49ers, Seahawks tomorrow. And we had heavy hitters on yesterday. I was going through the cut sheet, which is all the sound cuts we made yesterday, all the interviews all cut up and stuff like that to play for you lovely people. We had Brian Baldinger, 95.7 The Game NFL insider, NFL Network analyst, former NFL offensive lineman. We had Peter King, been covering the league for a bajillion years, does it at a very high level, is very tapped in. He's our 95.7 The Game NFL insider as well. He was on with Dibbs and JD, and then later they had, Steve Kerr. Yeah, that guy. Ever heard of him? Head coach of the Golden State Warriors. They had him as well. So we have a lot to react to today. But I wanted to start with the story of the Bay Area right now. And no, it's not the Warriors struggling. It's not the Giants hot stove. Who won't they sign? Who will they get your hopes up for to ultimately not sign? It's not that. It's not the Sharks and their stinkage. It's not the A's and them leaving. No. It's Brock Purdy. It's Mr. Irrelevant. And Brian Baldinger joined the Morning Roast yesterday and discussed Brock Purdy and compared him to who? Take a listen.
You know who you're describing right there. You're describing Joe Montana. Like, you go out and shake Joe Montana's hand back in the day. Like, there's nothing that wows you about Joe except the way that he played the game.
Yeah.
And the fact that he never felt pressure. And if you need to go have a game-winning Super Bowl drive in the final 2 minutes, he could be looking at John Candy on the sideline. And, all that stuff is legendary right now. But maybe that's what we're looking at. Because you shake his hand, there's, like, he might have the smallest hands I've ever shook from a quarterback.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. There's nothing. And then, you look at his frame. He doesn't have a big frame. I don't know how fast he is. That guy is, like, anybody that wants to say, I told you, he throws an interception against Cleveland, whatever. He throws an interception against it. I told you, this is who he is. Okay. Like, I just saw him. That's a good defense in Tampa. They have a lot of good players. Guys that have won Super Bowls. Like, nobody throws more in cuts than the San Francisco 49ers. You saw him to Kittle. You saw him to Ayuk the other day. You saw the one to Debo. Like, those throws are dangerous throws. Like, you have to layer those throws.
Brock Dangerous Purdy. What is that, Austin Powers? Austin Danger Powers. That was it. That was close. It's all right. God, I haven't seen that movie in forever. So good. Joe Montana, huh? Wow. We were tiptoeing around it for so long. That's Brian Baldinger. That's not just, some average Joe Baloney over there. And yes, I see the text line. You like that, Sam? I got some creative ones. Somehow, whenever I talk about the Lakers, all the nicknames come out. It's like I'm back in high school again. It's all right. I got Joe Spafoni. Baloney's always. I got Joey Baloney is what my brother always used to call me. Spaghetti, Spumoni. I got them all. It's all good. I got some other ones that are X-rated that I can't say. I'll tell the Sam off air. He'll find them funny. Went to an all-guys school. Sorry, that happens. If you don't get a nickname at an all-guys Catholic high school, I don't know what you were doing. You weren't living life, or you were getting bullied, and it was not good. I'm not a bully, by the way. I don't like bullies. Unless you're on the field and you're a bully. And that's what Brock Purdy is. Guy's a bully on the field. He's a cold-blooded killer. But he has small hands. He's not very tall. He doesn't have the big thighs like Jalen Hurts. He doesn't have the guns like, Anthony Richardson. He doesn't have all this, this physical talent. But what he does have is elite processing skills. He has to think faster than everyone else because he has to make up for the lack of arm strength. He can't afford to, go like a Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts and not find that initial read and then scramble around, and then throw it across his body. Although he's done that. He's done that in the last few weeks. Scares the hell out of Kyle Shanahan, and Kyle's like, don't ever do that again. And it's worked. But what Brock feasts on is, the IQ of the game. Being a step ahead of everyone else. It's chess for Brock Purdy. It really is. He's got that pawn out there, and he's going to wheel and deal. He'll lull you, then he'll strike like a cobra. That's what Brock Purdy has been this season. It's why he's an MVP candidate. It's why he's the talk of the NFL. And it's why the 49ers are one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Now, ultimately, it's going to come down to turnovers And if your back is against the wall, can you lead a game-winning drive? Can you do that? Now, he's shown he's capable of doing it against the Cleveland Browns. He did it against the Las Vegas Raiders last year, although the Raiders blew like 50 double-digit leads last year. Thanks, Josh McDaniels. Glad he's gone. He's shown that he can do it. In the Cleveland game, he put them in position to win, but ultimately they did not. He also threw a pick on the very first play of that series, and it was dropped. But that's all right. Leo is in Pacifica, and he wants to chat, and he wants to talk about the 49ers, I think. Leo, you're on the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, what's your name? I didn't even know I was going to get you on the line. What's your name?
What's my name?
Yeah.
You don't know my name? You've been listening to the show? Joe Spadoni.
No, sorry. I just looked up at 95.7 contact numbers, and this is what showed up.
Oh, what's up? What do you want to talk about? Okay. I hope you want to talk about sports, or I hope you don't have a problem with the management. What's going on?
No. Absolutely. It's a Niner thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
But it's a whole NFL thing.
Let's go.
Here's what's going on.
Let's go, Leo.
What I realized a few weeks ago, okay, here comes Cleveland. They have the Cleveland game. Just like everybody knows out there who's listening to this, they could have won it. It didn't happen. Missed field goal, right? Then here comes Minnesota, then Cincinnati, and then Jacksonville, who was it Jacksonville we beat the hell out of right after we came off our bye?
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
Right? Okay. Do you know? Okay, here we go. Cleveland. They had a bye week before they faced the Niners, correct? Yes. I know this. I remember this.
Yes.
Cleveland had a bye. Cincinnati had a bye week before they faced the Niners. Jacksonville had a bye week the same time we had a bye week. And it will happen again to the Niners in later on in the year when they play Arizona. 4 times. Okay? 4 times. And clearly a bye week is huge. More than huge. All right? Conversely, the Philadelphia Eagles, the participants, almost winners of the Super Bowl last year, it only happens once to them. I think this was the time. I think this was the time they faced a team with a bye week, Kansas City. That's it. Now you tell me that there isn't some disadvantage or huge advantage to that.
Well, Leo, and I appreciate the call. Listen, they faced a Browns team without their starting quarterback and starting running back and let P.J. Walker beat them. I think I'd be more upset about that. They were also coming off a massive win against the Dallas Cowboys and riding high. I don't think anyone was thinking, oh, this Browns team, they're coming off a bye week. They're going to be hungry. And I was like, no. Everyone was saying they were going to smoke the Browns, and they didn't. The Jaguars were the hottest team in the league, and I think the bye week came at the worst time for them because they were red hot. You want to buy if you're struggling or you're reeling, stuff like that. But as it pertains to Jacksonville, they wanted to keep playing. But then they got, a little sluggish, and they got punched in the mouth early and never got back up. Trevor Lawrence, he got happy feet. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, everyone was just laying the wood, and it was night-night. The Jags, by the way, bounced back in a big way, beating the Tennessee Titans. They have a huge matchup this weekend against the C.J. Stroud-led Houston Texans. Potential Rookie of the Year and MVP C.J. Stroud. Man. If we're talking MVP narratives and we're, going into Week 12, Brock Purdy has got a huge chance with a lot of eyeballs on him tomorrow night to really make an imprint and put his name out there that he should be the MVP. That's what I'm starting to watch right now. And people could say, I don't care about that. I want a Super Bowl. No, fans care. I want my guy to win the MVP. I want my guy to be the talk of the league. Colin Kaepernick never won the MVP, but my guy was in every single commercial during, their heyday when they're going up against Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks and Richard Sherman. I saw Kaepernick in McDonald's commercials. I saw him Beats by Dre, and Purdy can get there. Different guys, different personalities. I get all that. And he's doing his Alaska Airlines, stuff like that. But tomorrow, in Seattle, I think Brock Purdy puts on a show and he becomes the leader in the clubhouse talking about the NFL's MVP. What say you? 888-957-9570. Here's Peter King talking about the impressive part of Brock Purdy in layering his throws over defenses.
I am most impressed by how he layers the ball in over multiple defensive backs. He layered it to Brandon Ayuk right over Jamel Dean, who's a very good corner the other day. And obviously, Ayuk took it to the house. In the NFL, I believe, very rarely do you see Patrick Mahomes make a mistake like he made last night when he threw the end zone interception and he just didn't get the ball high and far enough. And that's one of the things that I think Purdy has done that is highly, highly impressive, which is basically layering the ball in, right over good NFL defenders.
He really does have a knack to attack the most dangerous part of the field, which is right down the middle and just out of the reach or right on the money to Ayuk, to Debo, to Kittle, whoever. And a lot of that's Kyle Shanahan, the scheme, which is great. But a lot of that, too, is anticipation. You got to be accurate and on time. That's the name of the game for a quarterback in the NFL. If you're not, split second, you're picked off, going to the house, night, see you later, you're a bum. It's that finite. The difference between winning and losing in the NFL. Could be a split second. And Brock Purdy, he's been putting on a show down the middle. Now, he doesn't have the arm strength, maybe attack the outside numbers as much, but he can do that. I've seen him roll out. Throw McCaffrey on a wheel around on a dime. I've seen him. But that's not what he is going to do often. Kyle Shanahan knows how to put his quarterbacks in a position to succeed, and that's what he has done with Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy, to his credit, he goes off script at times. Now, Kyle doesn't like that because Kyle, he knows all. He is the boy genius, as Guru likes to call him. My way or the highway. Shout Limp Bizkit. But Brock can be an improviser. He uses his legs, which is an element that a Kyle Shanahan quarterback really hasn't had outside of RG3 and maybe a little bit Kirk Cousins. He can, roll out a little bit too. But I think Brock's legs are actually underrated. My guy has that football speed where he just has just enough to get out of the reach of some of these DBs. He can make them think just enough, right? Here's more from Peter King talking about Purdy being impervious to blitz pressure. Like that?
He is going to get some pressure, and he has gotten some pressure. But he's almost impervious to it, because after he gets a couple of real heavy pressures, he looks exactly the same. If he gets pressured two times in a row, he looks exactly the same, on his third throw.
And finally, from Mr. Peter King, and you can find this entire interview on 957thegame.com. You can search 957 The Game on your Odyssey app, download that. You can also find it all on YouTube and Twitch, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. This is the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 888-957-9570. Talking Brock Purdy, talking MVP, talking Seattle Seahawks, talking Thanksgiving. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. What's the unique dish that your family likes to have? I always like to ask that. We like to have a little pasta dish. We're Italian. We always have a pasta dish, whatever. Christmas time, we do cioppino. But my dad's going to be coming over to the in-laws this year, and he's going to bring his ravioli, which I always enjoy. What dishes are unique to your Thanksgiving table? I'd like to know. 888-957-9570. Here's Peter King talking about Brock Purdy erasing more doubt every single week.
The more he plays, the more I think people realize why, when Kyle Shanahan discusses him, there really isn't any doubt in his mind anymore that the 49ers have their quarterback of the future. And for the next 2 or 3 years, obviously next 2 years, I would say it's really going to help them because they're going to be able to keep more of their better players. And I mean, eventually, most likely, they're going to have to pay him like a big-time quarterback. But for now, the Niners are really in a golden opportunity, as everybody knows, to try to win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years.
One might call it a red and golden opportunity. You like that? Crickets? That's fine. I enjoyed it. That's often how my puns go at home, by the way. The missus just looks at me with a blank stare, just, how dare you? It's like, you love it. That's why you married me. That's why you've been with me all these years. Come on. Don't lie. The dad jokes, the puns. The ladies love it, right? Come on. Ladies, 888-957-9570. They always say, if you make a woman laugh, that's you're golden. Well, I say BS on that, by the way, because I've seen some ugly MFers like your boy be funny. I make some 9s and 10s laugh. Yeah, I wasn't going home later with them. No, wasn't happening. I hope you come home and turn on 95.7 The Game for the Warriors and Suns. Like that for a transition. Suns Warriors tonight, 6 o'clock, Warriors Live, John Dickinson. Tip-off, 7 o'clock. Tim Roy. We'll have all your pre- and post-game coverage all day long right here, 95.7 The Game. We got more of your calls, more of your texts. What are you having at Thanksgiving? What's unique to your Thanksgiving dinner? I would like to know. 888-957-9570. More Baldy, more Peter King. And Steve Kerr joined John Dickinson and Dan Dibley yesterday. Dickinson in for Mark Willard. And he had some very interesting thoughts on Klay Thompson, their relationship, Draymond Green, and the defense. So we'll get into that. Plus, wait till you hear what Nick Sirianni had to say after the Eagles' massive win on Monday Night Football. Niner fans, I think you're going to hate it. I think I love it. We'll discuss that a little later on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Shop Black Friday every day and get the best.
Empire history, a great future. Become a member today.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pre-game show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Been talking 49ers, Seahawks. Huge game tomorrow. Lots of implications. Geno Smith, hurt arm, hurt tricep. We'll see if he gives it a go. No Kenneth Walker. That hurts for the Seattle Seahawks. But you know what? Niners have had their share of injuries. Every team has their share of injuries. You don't feel sorry for the opposition when it comes to injuries. It is what it is. And tomorrow, I expect the 49ers to dominate on national TV, and I expect Brock Purdy to have a huge performance and finally toss his hat into the top 3 conversation when it comes to league MVP. I do. You know, a lot of people, they're sleeping on the guy, I feel like. Maybe I'm sleeping on him because of the Kyle Shanahan stigma, quote unquote. Kyle Shanahan quarterbacks. You know, if you had no success prior to him or he's your first coach, Shanahan gets the credit, not the quarterback. I think Brock's kind of breaking that perception, though. I think he is with his improvisation, with his, plays that drive Kyle nuts a little bit. He's like, don't do that again. Well, I'm Brock Purdy. I'm going to. Because you know what? I live on that fine line of reckless and brilliant. And right now, he's been brilliant. Speaking of brilliant, this article I was reading via The Athletic, and they do this yearly, and it's great. If you're not on The Athletic, I highly recommend it. Great content, great coverage, all the sports, Niners, Giants, what have you. All great. Warriors, we love Anthony Slater. The Athletic, R95.7 The Game, Warriors Insider. But there was a really interesting one, and it was the Anonymous Players Poll. So they talk about a lot of stuff, right? They talk to 85 players and beat writers from all across the league, talk to these players, and they just ask them basic questions, right? Like best player in the game today, 84 responses, 46% of the vote. It's obvious. It's Patrick Mahomes. You had some other ones in there. You had some Aaron Donalds, Tyreek Hills, Lamar, Nick Bosa, 2.4%. Trent Williams, 2.4%. So there you go. 4.8%. Just doing some quick math there. Those Niners. There you go. But then there's some interesting ones. I go down to which current coach, aside from your own, would you want to play for? There were 72 responses here. And these ones were kind of surprising. Mike Tomlin, far and away getting the most at 26.4%. Mike Tomlin, who, by the way, may be on the hot seat out in Pittsburgh, depending on how this season ends up. They've been outgained in every single one of their games. They're somehow still in the playoff picture. But Kenny Pickett hasn't been good. They just fired their offensive coordinator. Things could be a-changing in Pittsburgh real soon. But players, they still love that guy. Mike Tomlin getting 26% of the vote. Next is the former 49ers offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel, coming in at 14.6% of the vote. The guy with the vape, the guy with the sunglasses, the guy with the slick back hair, the capris, whatever he's doing on the sideline. Players love them some Mike McDaniel. You know what? I get it. As just an observer of sports and watching it and dissecting it and regurgitating it and talking about it with all of you, I love me some Mike McDaniel. I really do. Guy's fascinating. When I was doing, a lot of the cutting for audio during during the weeks leading up to games, stuff like that. The Mike McDaniel pressers, you would just go through and be like, what the heck is this guy talking about? And then slowly but surely, I was like, you know what? This guy's quirky. I like him. He just says what's on his mind. And then I read his story, struggled with addiction, overcame that, got another shot in the NFL, didn't know if he was going to get another shot in the NFL. His link to Kyle Shanahan being the Denver Broncos ball boy. And then not even getting a interview with that team when they were up for a head coach after firing Nate Hackett a couple years ago. Or they brought in Nate Hackett, sorry. Brought in Nate Hackett. Didn't even think to bring in Mike McDaniel for an interview. That was after they fired Vic Fangio. That's right. And Mike McDaniel was like, okay, that's fine. Next time I play you, Denver Broncos, I'm just going to drop 70 on your ass. That's what he did this year. Now the Broncos, all of a sudden, they're hot. They won 4 in a row. They take on the Cleveland Browns this week. That's an interesting matchup, to say the least. 2 hard-hitting defenses. A lot of good football this weekend. A lot of good football. But this players poll we're discussing right now on the pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 888-957-9570, talking about which current coach would you want to play for. So you had Mike Tomlin getting 26%, Mike McDaniel 14%. Then you go down to Kyle Shanahan getting 5.6% of the vote. Tied with Sean McVay and this man, Nick Sirianni. That was a head coach in the National Football League coming off a win. Nick Sirianni, listen to it one more time, going into the locker room after a massive win for his Philadelphia Eagles over the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. And he's feeling himself. I know we hate him. I know Niner fans hate him. They can't stand his guts. Why did that sound like me at home? Just talking to my TV after a huge win over like a division rival. See ya. I felt that. And I know why Philly fans love that man. And I know they're enemy number 1 in the Bay. But I'm sorry. I loved every second of that. You could have your, that's no way to act as an NFL head coach. I was like, no, that man is the epitome of his fan base. They love that over in Philly. Would something like that fly in New England with Bill Belichick? No. Would it fly in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin? No. Hell, would it even fly here in San Francisco? Can you imagine Kyle Shanahan doing it? No. But I can imagine Nick Sirianni doing it. That's the thing. I'm not shocked. Hey, anymore, Chiefs fans! See ya! 888-957-9570. How much can you not stand the Paisan Nick Sirianni? Let me know, Niner fans. 888-957-9570. We'll continue to take your calls and texts as well. We got one more break before handing it off to the morning roast, Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. They got Anthony Slater at 8 o'clock coming up, talking some Warriors, talking some Suns. They get off the schneid finally, and can they keep it going? And the Niners obviously looking to keeping it going tomorrow in Seattle on Thanksgiving. 888-957-9570. Come on back. One more segment here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Hey, I'm Jackie, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the chicken. It is golden brown, so juicy, so delicious. It's the perfect savory start to my day.
Hey, I'm Matt, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the freshly baked, flaky, buttery biscuit. When I take a bite, it's kind of like, crispy, soft, crispy. Crispy outside, soft interior, crispy chicken.
together millions of things for our planet. Planning a road trip this fall? Maximize your fuel economy by inflating tires to proper pressure and packing light. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Dub Nation, this is Tim Roy, and you're listening to the Pregame Show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. We got one more segment. We've flown by. I'm in a great mood. I hope all of you are too. If you're just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school. Morning roast here in about, 15 minutes or so. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky. They got Anthony Slater joining them at 8 o'clock. 95.7 The Game, Warriors Insider. The Athletic covers the team at a very high level. Might be the best when it comes to covering the Golden State Warriors. You're going to want to hear what he has to say. Steve Kerr, he joined Dibbs and Dickinson, double Ds, yesterday. Shout out Ed and Eddie for those who know. The head coach talking about Klay Thompson and his struggles this season. And their relationship makes dealing with their struggles a lot easier. This is very interesting. Take a listen to Steve Kerr talking about his future Hall of Famer, Klay Thompson.
The good thing is we've been together for 9 years, so I can always see when Klay is frustrated, and we can have really open, easy conversations, and he's very coachable. He gets so hard on himself, when things don't go well, and that's, it seems to happen every year. So you can just see it in a game, whatever it is. Maybe he'll have a game or two. I don't remember exactly which game, over this last couple of weeks, but he could feel it, and his teammates could feel it. And, this is part of being a pro, part of being an NBA player. It's like everybody just goes through these stretches where you shoot poorly, things aren't going your way. Wiggins obviously, went through it the first couple weeks of the season. And it's all part of it. You just got to keep going, and that's part of my job as a coach, is to try to get guys to relax and play and just enjoy the game.
Relax and enjoy the game. Well, it's hard to when you're pressing like Klay is a lot this season, but I will give Klay credit with this. Last year, you could see it a lot where he just felt like he needed to chuck. And at times he does that this year, but it's a lot more of being, discerning with his decision-making. He is becoming much more, efficient that way. I shouldn't say much more, a little more. When he knows it's not there, passing up a good shot for a great shot, or dishing it out, or, he's not feeling it, kick it out to Steph. Like, that's the next evolution for Klay Thompson, because he's not going to be that 20, 25-point scorer every single night. He's not anymore. And I think he's come to that realization where he has to change his game. 888-957-9570, the number. More from Kerr talking about Draymond Green and Draymond making the trip to Phoenix with the team for tonight's matchup. Take a listen to this.
Scrimmage today with our younger guys, and he's on the trip here to Phoenix. So tomorrow we'll have another group that plays at scrimmages, with Draymond. So he's getting his work in, and I'm seeing him pretty much every day. And he has to leave the arena when he's suspended. You have to leave, I think, 2 hours before game starts. So he, obviously hasn't been around for the games, but he's around beforehand, and we've been talking every day. Bottom line is we need Draymond. You can see that without him, we don't have as much force. We don't have a lot of things. Just, he's one of the best defensive players, obviously in the league. Does so much for us offensively with his screening and pushing the ball in transition, creating stuff in the half court. So we just need him, and he knows that. I've made that pretty clear. That's That's obvious, but he's got to be there for his teammates. That's the main thing. Our teammates need him. He's got to be out there for them. So Draymond knows what he's got to do.
Draymond knows what he's got to do. Don't choke people. There you go. Spoiler alert. 888-957-9570. Draymond Green. He really is the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to sports talk radio. My guy. Is Draymond Green more polarizing than this guy right now to 49er fans and Warriors fans? I love it. I'm sorry. I do. If you're mad at me, that's fine. I get it. That's just how I fan, I feel like. And I feel like Nick Sirianni encapsulates the Philadelphia fan so well. And it's funny. We were talking about it off air, Loveman and Jasky and I. Like, yeah, that's all great until he starts losing. It's like, oh, yeah, he'll get crushed. Absolutely. But that's perfect. Because we can just keep playing that soundbite when he's gone. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. That's it. Right? Man. Nick Sirianni. I'm seeing this from the text line. Nick Sirianni has now jumped LeBron James and James Harden as the most hated individual in sports currently for him. Wow. Or her. Man. It's rough. I mean, this guy, what could you not like about this guy as a head coach? I mean, just listen to him. He just sounds so passionate, right? Listen, I'm trying to garner a lot of, urgency for this game tomorrow for the 49ers. And sure, listen, if they lose tomorrow, then it is concerning. That's a huge loss. Now the Seahawks are first in the division at that point because they would have that first game over you, head to head. Both be 7-4. But how could you not be looking down to December 3rd? Next Sunday. Philadelphia. And that guy is going to be on the sideline. And you're finally going to have your quarterback, knock on wood, Brock Purdy, having a chance at redemption to beat that team that pummeled you and beat you down in the NFC Championship game. How could you not be looking ahead to that game? Well, I know the Niners aren't because they've already had their 3-game losing streak. I think they've been, humbled a little bit, if you will, and they're revamped, they're refocused. They're not taking anyone lightly, and they're not looking ahead. But I sure as hell am. And that guy, I would want to beat the hell out of if I'm Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa, whatever. Like Pete Carroll, I get it. The gum chewing, he's won a championship. They were owning you for a while. But this? It's the see ya. And if the 49ers beat them, don't worry. We'll be isolating that see ya and playing it constantly. Oh, man. Nick Sirianni. 888-957-9570. Is he the most hated guy right now? Who is the most hated athlete? Who's the biggest turkey if we're doing Thanksgiving? So who's the biggest turkey right now? Number one, turkey here for Bay Area sports fans. Thank you. Is it Nick Sirianni? Who do we hate right now? Is it LeBron James still? Is it Austin Reeves? Is it Jordan Poole? Is it Draymond Green? Gabe Kapler? Farhan? Who can you not stand right now? As it's the season of giving, and we're just gonna hate. Come on. Let's have some fun. It's all right. Let's not act like there isn't hate at Thanksgiving either. I've been at some of those awkward dinner conversations where things get political, things get personal. I got 9 siblings for crying out loud. I don't think there was fights growing up. Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. Hey, so-and-so got this. I wanted that. I didn't want this. I wanted that. Like, just Things happen. It's all right. Sports hate. It's good. It's healthy. Real hate, not healthy. We don't like to use that word in the Spadoni household, but if we're talking about certain teams and players, I allow it from my 4-year-old. I hate that person. You know what, son? I'm proud of you. Can't stand him either. Patrick Mahomes. We got a couple minutes here. 888-957-9570. I am thankful for all of you who get up early to, talk to me here. Oh, we got a caller here. I'm going to go blind. Let's see if you're there. Sam, can you hear me back there? Can you pot up my caller, please? Thank you, Sam Lubman. You're on the pregame show. Who is this I'm talking to?
Is Ned Piazza here?
Oh, what's up, Ned Piazza? Paisan. What's going on, Ned?
Hey, the biggest turkey's got to be John Fisher right now in the Bay Area.
That's a great call. It's not even close, is it, Ned? It's not even close.
It's not even close. Long-time A's fans had to see him go to Vegas, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Man, and I hear it in your voice, Ned, and I appreciate the call. John Fisher, screw you. You know what? Not even close. Biggest turkey, biggest just POS. We were talking about sports hate. I do hate that man and what he has done to A's fans, me included, and all of you. Ned, I appreciate you chiming in. Screw that guy who, by the way, probably eats plain green beans and cranberry sauce in a stale loaf of bread. I hope that's what he eats for Thanksgiving. And then gets food poisoning. Can't stand that guy. Ugh, John Fisher, you're right. Thank you for calling in, Ned. 888-957-9570. And thank you, all of you, this holiday season for choosing the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. I got to go. I got to produce and run the board for the morning roast. They're coming up next. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky, Anthony Slater. 8 o'clock, joining them, R95.7 The Game, Warriors Insider. Warriors taking on the Phoenix Suns tonight, 7 o'clock. Warriors Live starting at 6 with John Dickinson before handing off to the voice of the Golden State Warriors, Tim Roy, who will be on the call. We'll have your pregame coverage. You'll have your postgame coverage all day long. Plus, tomorrow, we'll have your pre- and postgame coverage for the 49ers Seahawks. And then Joe Shasky will be taking your calls on Friday morning. Black Friday, for those of you shopping, doing whatever, chilling at home, download the Odyssey app. Morning roast up next. Have a good Thanksgiving, everyone.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco.